For it is written, 'Worship the Lord your God, and serve him only.'" His words were a command, a declaration of absolute loyalty to his Father and rejection of the enemy's schemes. Defeated, the devil fled, retreating into the shadows, and the wilderness fell silent once more. In that stillness, angels descended, their presence a balm to Jesus' wearied body and spirit. They ministered to him, renewing his strength and affirming the triumph of faith and obedience over temptation. As Jesus emerged from the wilderness, his spirit fortified by the triumph over temptation, troubling news reached him. John the Baptist, his forerunner and the bold voice crying in the wilderness, had been arrested. Herod Antipas, the Tetrarch of Galilee, had imprisoned John for publicly condemning his unlawful marriage to Herodias, his brother's wife. The arrest of John marked a turning point, a sign that the time for preparation had ended. The mission for which Jesus had been sent was now at hand. One last attempt. Jesus approached them, his presence commanding yet serene. "Follow me," he said, his voice filled with quiet authority, "and I will make you fishers of men." The simplicity of the call belied its profound significance. Without hesitation, Peter and Andrew left their nets, their livelihood, and the familiarity of their lives, compelled by the promise of a purpose greater than anything they had known. Further along the shore, Jesus saw James and John, the sons of Zebedee, sitting in their father's boat. They were mending their nets, their hands rough and skilled from years of work alongside their father. Jesus called to them as well, and like Peter and Andrew, they responded immediately. Leaving their father and the tools of their trade, they followed him. These men, ordinary in station, unlearned in theology, were chosen for an extraordinary mission. Another day, as the crowds pressed in on him near the shore, Jesus entered Peter's boat and asked him to push out into the water. From there, he taught the people, his words like streams of living water to thirsty souls. When he finished, he turned to Peter and said, "Put out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch." Peter hesitated, his exhaustion evident. "Master," he replied, "we've worked hard all night and caught nothing. But because you say so, I will let down the nets." No sooner had they obeyed than their nets filled with fish, so many that they began to tear. Calling for help, they filled both boats to the point of sinking. Astonished, Peter fell at Jesus' feet. "Go away from me, Lord," he said, "for I am a sinful man." But Jesus looked at him with compassion and certainty. "Do not be afraid," he said. "From now on, you will fish for people." In the quiet town of Capernaum, the journey of discipleship began. These first followers, Peter, Andrew, James, and John, stepped into the unknown, trusting the one who had called them. Together, they would walk with the Messiah, learning from his words and witnessing his works. The dawn of the kingdom of heaven was breaking, and their lives and the world would never be the same. With his disciples at his side, Jesus journeyed through the cities, towns, and villages of Galilee, proclaiming, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand." His words, spoken with unparalleled authority, resonated in synagogues, homes on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, and in the bustling marketplaces where the weary and oppressed gathered. Wherever he went, his message pierced through the darkness, bringing hope to those burdened by sin and suffering. As news of his teaching and miracles spread, crowds flocked to him, bringing their sick, their possessed, and their broken. From every direction, Galilee, Decapolis, Jerusalem, Judea, and beyond the Jordan. They came, drawn by the promise of healing and the light of his presence. Jesus' compassion knew no bounds. In Capernaum, he entered the home of Simon Peter, where Peter's mother-in-law lay sick with a fever. Gently, he took her hand, and at his touch, the fever left her. She rose immediately and began to serve them. That evening, as the sun set, the streets outside the house filled with people. The sick, the lame, the demon-possessed, they all gathered, desperate for his healing touch. One by one, he healed them, casting out spirits with a word and restoring their bodies to health. In another village, a man with leprosy approached him, his body ravaged by the disease and his spirit crushed by the isolation it brought. Falling to his knees, he cried, "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Jesus, moved with compassion, reached out his hand and touched him, an act unthinkable to those bound by the fear of contagion. "I am willing," he said.